Hello and welcome to the cryptocurrency news channel. We got some big news. According to on-chain analysis and Blockworks, DEXs surpassed centralized exchanges from April 2021 to April 2022 by a whopping $49 billion. That's right. That means exchanges like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and all these swaps combined are actually exchanging more volume than Binance, Coinbase, etc. That must make centralized exchanges kind of nervous, except for Binance, because a lot of these decentralized exchanges obviously run on BSC. Obviously, the big advantage that centralized exchanges have is they have fiat on ramps and off ramps. But the rest of these crypto to crypto transactions are happening via DEXs. Now, this must also make authorities nervous because they find it very, very hard to track these things when they actually transfer via DEXs as opposed to centralized exchanges. Obviously, with centralized exchanges, it's much easier to keep track, much easier to tax, and also much easier to regulate. So the federal regulators must be shaking in their boots. For stuff like DeFi and like yield farming, unless people actually report it, they could find it hard to track. Of course, people eventually have to actually cash out sooner or later, at least right now they do, to actually use this money. And at that point, they can actually tax it. But the transactions in between, they really can't track. I personally think tax policy should change anyways to where you basically only get taxed when you actually cash out, because that makes a lot more sense than taxing crypto to crypto transactions. So that's where we are right now. I don't know if government entities are going to make a move to try to regulate decentralized exchanges, and I don't really know how feasible that actually is. But they must actually be worried because it's very hard for them to track what people are actually doing on Uniswap and PancakeSwap and all these other swaps. And there's thousands of them there that really that aren't governed by one central body. At least they're not supposed to. Now, some DEXs probably aren't really decentralized, and they do have some kind of immortal god key in there. Those aren't truly DEXs. We don't really know which ones they actually are. Uniswap pulled something where it wasn't a god key, but there was some aspect of Uniswap that was kind of centralized. So the thing is, like, authorities are going to want to put backdoors in DEXs so they can actually check. But it's going to be hard for them to actually go after DEXs because they're not actually based in one place. So the thing is, like, I do think the next push in regulation for authorities is decentralized exchanges, yield farming, and like a decentralized finance, because that's such a big boon. They can make so much money off of that just by taxing that. But in order to tax it efficiently, they actually need to be able to get their hands around it and regulate it. And decentralized exchanges passing centralized exchange, and I think the gap is going to grow wider and wider and wider as time goes on, is kind of a wake-up call to them that people are definitely trying to get around it, and they might actually have to make regulations like more friendly if they want people to actually comply. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.